Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and today I am in my Sonnet Platinum, and hopefully we're going to teach you how to resize a design to a different hoop and to remove part of a border from a design, and also when you're downloading a design from another manufacturer and they use a different manufacturer's thread, to change to whatever thread brand you like. So let's begin. The first thing I wanted to show you was how to change the threads from one manufacturer to another, and pretty much I'm going to use this design to start out with, and as you can see as I scroll over the colors, and it's not working. There we go. It says we are using Madeira Rayon 40 thread, and I want to use the Robeson Anton Rayon. So all I have to do is in the Home tab, go over to the center, towards the center, and go into Color and Tone. That will open up. It will show your design. And where it says original thread, scroll down and pick your thread choice, and in my case it's going to be the Robeson Anton Rayon 40, and it's going to change it right on over. So now when I scroll over, it's going to show that my threads are all into the Robeson Anton. The other thing is when you slide this bar, it may change the colors that you're using. So if you don't like the colors that it's giving you, you can always go back into Color and Tone and change the slider bar. So if I wanted to go way up to get a really dark design, go backwards, you can see as I slide this bar, it is changing my colors. Okay? And it will be reflected in this design panel. Alright, so that is what I wanted to show you with that. The second thing I wanted to show you is that I have been working on an applique design, and I'm going to bring that up in the digitizing module. Do not touch that finish button. And I'm hoping that I saved it as an EDO file, which means that that is a file that I can go back in and edit and change around, do whatever I want to it. And pretty much basically, here's my design. And there are some things that I want to change. First of all, it is a 200 by 200 millimeter hoop, and I'm going to change that eventually because I want it to be a little bit smaller. And anytime you change a design, what I would do is I would go to, I'm going to say new window here, and I'm going to hit cancel. So if you started out with a design that you purchased someplace and you wanted to go a little bit smaller or whatever, here's the a better way to do it. Go into Insert Embroidery, and I'm going to say Witch's Hat here. And right now, let me see what I'm doing. I created it to start out with, I believe, in the 200 by 200 hoop, and then I decided, ooh, I wanted it to go into a 150 by 150 hoop. So all I want to do there is go in to modify the block, and I'm going to say scale to fit my hoop. And it sorry about that, you have to change your hoop size first. So I'm going to change it to my 150 by 150 texture hoop. You can do that with the Do-All Quilters hoop or the texture hoop, whichever one you have. So see, right now it's too big. If I go to export it, it's going to yell at me. So I would say modify block and scale to fit the hoop. And notice over there in the design panel, 11:9:22 goes down to 88:24. And I can also look at the stitches to see if they look okay by going into Life View using the slider bar. I can take these little arrows and toggle them around and make sure things look like I want them to look like. And it looks good, so that's how I would resize a design. Going back into the original design I brought up first, when I created this applique, I did everything in a running stitch. And to start out with, I actually took and got rid, so I right-clicked and I got rid of the appliques. And I'm going to do that real quick right now. Properties, applique, say none. And here we're going to say, and I right-clicked over the block, and I'm going to say applique with the left click and say none. Okay, so that takes me back to the original design. And I did everything with a single stitch so I could see what I was doing. If I did this one first and I put the applique in there, and then I went and had to do the cat outline in the digitizing, I wouldn't have been able to see it. So I do things without the appliques to start out with, and then I go and apply the appliques afterwards. And that seems to work out much better for me. I know when I first started doing appliques, I had not thought of that trick, and I had to move things in and out and all over the place, back and forth, so I could see. I would have, I guess to explain it better, I would have to do all the small items first and then do the large items, and then I'd have to take and rearrange everything in the correct order after everything was done. When I do the designs with just a running stitch, it allows me to see through those designs. And there is the last one. And go back and say standard, apply, and OK. The other thing I like to do when I'm doing an applique like this is one more thing. I would go in and turn on my fill, and I like to do a crosshatch fill. And I'm going to say 20 here, because I want a really large crosshatch fill there, just to tack things down. I'm going to right-click over panel number 4, Properties, change from No Fill to Crosshatch Fill, and this time I am going to use a did not want spiral. I'm going to use parallel lines, and I'm going to set that to about 15 and see what that looks like. I don't want huge, I don't want my lines to be too close together. I want them to be pretty far apart, but I want the piece to be tacked down. And right now, all I have, when I go back here and look, is a running stitch, and that's not what I want either. So I want to change that to a satin line. And I'm gonna tune that up to about a 4. And I'm gonna take with the cat and see what that is made out of. So let's say the cat, I don't have to have a fill there, but I do want a satin line. And I'm gonna say 4 here and see what it looks like. Okay, looks like I can deal with that. Now, maybe I don't want just a plain satin stitch around that circle. I'm going to go with motif. And I'm going to choose a decorative stitch number 27 and say OK there. Okay, so I've got that about the way I like it. And I have it arranged so the cat is on top of everything. So it looks like it's arranged properly. So now, just because I've been bebopping around, I'm going to do an export. And I'm going to put it out on the desktop. And where can I put it where I can find it? I'm going to put it right in there. So in my random leafy. Alright, now I'm going to close this up. And it opened the way I wanted it to open. And what size hoop do I have it in? Did I change the hoop to 150? Nope, didn't do that. So, when you've decide that, oops, I need to go back in and change something, you can go over here to the film strip and do a right click and say edit and digitizing again. And your digitizer will open. And your 150 by 150 hoop is up, and you can say modify, scale to fit the hoop. And it just scaled it to fit the hoop. And we close it out again, and it should fit the hoop perfectly now. And I see one issue that I want to get rid of in this design. So I'm going to get rid of it. I don't want this motif border to continue underneath the cat. So what I'm going to do over here on the film strip is do a right click. I'm going to say fix as stitches. And now it's going to let me go into Stitch Editor. And in Stitch Editor, let me maximize that. I'm going to slide my slider bar. And I'm going to slide this bar so I can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to, and actually I really don't have to remove all of this. I'm going to go to Box Select. Actually, I'm going to go to Point Select. And I'm just going to drop a point just outside of these blocks. I'm going to put an angle there just for kicks and giggles. and I'm gonna hit delete. And that got rid of most of that border. And if I really wanted to really, get rid of more of it, I could actually go into that zoom, and probably I could do a box select here if I wanted real bad and get rid of those. And I really don't see anything here that I can remove without really disrupting some other stitches. So I'm going to leave that be. And now I can slide everything back out. And when that stitches out, it will not stitch those motifs underneath that cat. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I can just click the X up here, and it will have saved the file. I can go into the design player and double check to make sure. You can see right there that it did not do those stitches underneath that cat. So perfect, just the way I want it to be. Can't think of anything else I wanted to show you right now. Hope you enjoyed this little lesson. And remember to leave a comment or like. Give me a thumbs up. Helps me a lot out. Lets me know that I'm doing something correct. And hopefully I'll make another video soon. Thank you.